Hi guys, it's been a bit of a long time with no chat. I am finally coming back with a Q&A and sort of update video. If you are not following me on my second channel or social media, you probably don't really know that much about what's going on with my life, and I've just been getting a lot of questions on Instagram and Tumblr and across my vlogs. I just uploaded a few different moving vlogs because I moved out of New York City. But to catch you up to speed a bit on what's going on with my life now and over the next few months, Avery and I have a flight to Europe tomorrow, and we do not have a return flight. Neither of us have a set home right now. Avery just graduated college and my lease in New York was up, and I was kind of ready to get out of there and travel and not be spending a ton of money on rent. But I must say that the traveling is not all fun and games. We're really lucky that with our jobs we can work remotely from pretty much anywhere. We'll mainly be doing work for our brand, STAATSBALLETT, when we're out there, working on sourcing and just everything in between as we prepare for our next collection. But that's the brief. You're gonna see us in a bunch of different places and setups. You won't have like a particular setup for main channel videos. I'm gonna be filming a lot on my vlog channel for sure, and just keeping up a bit more on social media. And I always have all of those channels linked down below in case you're interested in following me on there. But without further ado, I guess I should start answering some questions. I'll start with a travel related question because I'm getting very excited to get out of America tomorrow. Where do you want to visit the most out of places you've never been? So we're spending sort of the first leg of our trip in Germany, and I have super high hopes for Berlin and just Germany as a whole. I've also been dying to go to a bunch of different places in Asia for a while now, so I'm hoping we can make it over there at some point as well. What's a fashion piece you'd really like to get your hands on right now? Well, this one's pretty easy for me. I have been needing a pair of sandals for so long. I talked about it in a recent shoe collection video actually, that I just don't have a good pair of sandals. I wanted this pair from Marcel, and I think they're still stocked some places, but I don't know, I kind of changed my mind about that. But for now I am hunting down the Rick Owens hiking sandals in black preferably. I used to say that I wanted the high top ones, but I'm thinking I want the lower versions. They're also a little bit less expensive. But I've just been having a hard time justifying spending the money on sandals just because I can't wear them all year round. But that's definitely what I have my eye on. If I can catch them on end of season sale, I absolutely will. A bunch of questions asking about New York and why I left. I don't even know how to get started with that. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, sort of just wanting to explore other places and not have to worry about paying rent is definitely one thing, but also I just feel like there are so many other places to explore in the world and so many other cities, and I used to think New York was like the only place I could be for some reason, and I think that's mainly because I didn't travel at all when I was younger. I feel like I had a really closed-minded view of the world to some extent, and now I'm like, oh, I just want to go everywhere and I don't want to live in one place my entire life. But I can definitely see myself ending up back there. I feel like it's the best place in the US for me, but also there's so many places in the US I haven't been. I can also really see myself like in the Pacific Northwest, but I've never even been there, so I probably shouldn't be saying that. I definitely don't regret living in New York at all, but I'm so excited for new adventures. And then some other questions about the hardest thing about leaving the city and the best thing about leaving the city. The best thing about leaving the city is definitely that I'm saving so much money by just not being in the city. I spend so much money when I'm there, and I know so many people do it. But the hardest thing is leaving my friends for sure, and just leaving the convenience of living in New York. A lot of questions related to what are you doing with your brand when you're going abroad. If you guys follow me on my vlog channel or on social media, you see that I am shipping things a lot, and I basically housed all of our inventory in my little apartment in New York for a while. But we are sold out of most of the first collection, and we're just focusing on the next one. We're not restocking anything at this time, at least. so there's not that much stuff left to ship, and it's really easy to train and pass those duties on to somebody else. So yeah, you'll still be able to order from the online shop anything that's in stock. We do have someone else shipping things out for us for the time being, but we're pretty much just working towards the future when we're away. I also got a lot of questions asking for advice in long distance relationships, and I totally get where you're coming from. It's definitely hard to be in a long distance relationship. I think Avery and I haven't like truly been long distance for a while. We spend so much time with each other, even though that we lived in different places. Like, I feel like we were always with each other for at least like 1 full week each month. We were super fortunate to almost always live in the same time zone, except for when he was abroad. So I feel kind of bad even giving advice, because I know a lot of people have it so much worse. But I think just communication is the most important thing. Finding like ways to feel like you are with them even when you're not. I'm trying to think of things we did when he was abroad. There was something that we could use. I'll find it and put it in the description box. There was something that we could use to watch Netflix together, and it had like a little chat room, and you could be making sure that you were watching at the exact same time, and we used to do that almost every day. I think just making sure that you're communicating and no one's becoming a stranger and making plans to see each other is really the biggest thing. I feel like you need to FaceTime or video chat every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Ooh, we have some questions about school. Do you plan on finishing school? And then I think some people aren't caught up and are asking me, since I moved, did I finish school? So I posted a video not that long ago on here about dropping out of the bachelor's program at FIT. So I did finish the associate's program at FIT, and I was continuing on to the bachelor's program. I did a semester of it, and I had 2 semesters left, and I just decided that it wasn't benefiting me at this time anymore. And I know plenty of people have their own opinions on it, and that's fine. Different things work for everyone, and I don't want to tell you like don't go to school, but for me it had started to feel like it was just a giant scam, and I don't have anybody else paying for my education. It's really just me, and I was wanting to work towards my own business a lot more, and that's ultimately what I would want to do after school anyways. And I kind of always want to be my own boss. I think I will always be able to figure it out if something goes awry. I only wanted to get an education because I wanted to have the education, and school just wasn't working out anymore. Sorry if you've already heard this spiel from me, but just summarizing and going into it again. Like in my last semester of school, I had to miss a ton for my brand, just to like go to factories and go to different meetings, and I don't regret that at all, but professors just didn't really understand, and it would make my grades suffer, and I don't feel like I was really learning anything useful or current in the majority of my classes, because I don't know, I was meeting with people that are actually in the industry, and it was just totally different than what I was learning in school. And I think it's like that in a lot of ways, but yeah. I'll shut up about that now. Best tip for clear skin treating acne scars and active spots, especially considering I'm a uni student who doesn't get much sleep. I feel that completely. I have gotten lucky over the past couple years, I would say, with my skin. I feel like I've kind of outgrown my acne phase. I definitely get breakouts here and there, especially when I'm like traveling or getting super stressed or eating a lot of chocolate. That's when it's the worst. But I'm gonna link some products down below that I've been using lately that have just completely cleared up my skin. It was moving out. I broke out like crazy as I did when I was like 15. But I'll link some good products below. Also, if you have the means to do it, I think going to a dermatologist is always a good idea. And drinking lots of water, as everyone tells you. Can you rank 3 favorite designer and 3 favorite fast fashion brands? Okay. So I usually try to stray away from fast fashion just for ethical reasons, but I'm definitely not perfect. Never going to attack anyone for shopping fast fashion, but I think just being educated about it is a good first step. But 3 favorite designers. Lately, I've found that I feel very confident when I am wearing Rick Owens. I guess I could even say that. I usually wouldn't classify Rick as one of my favorite designers, but love him. Probably Antimonister and Margiela as some of the bigger brands. Someone asked me how many years being vegan. Not a full year. I've kind of strayed away from talking about it too much because I don't want to be like a shove it in your face vegan. But I think for about 4 months officially, but I transitioned super gradually. I actually just did a post on my blog where I compiled a list of my favorite New York vegan restaurants. So if you're in New York or you're visiting, I'll have that link down below too. One last one about New York. I know you said you couldn't wait to move out of New York, but how do you feel about it in retrospect? What did it teach you and what can you tell anyone wanting to move there? I mean, it hasn't been that long since I moved out, so I don't think I can talk about it too much yet, but no regrets yet, mainly just because I feel like nothing is permanent. I think it was a really good growing place for me to be, especially when I'm young. I mean, I think some of you know this if you've been following me for a long time, but I grew up in a super small town in West Virginia, total opposite of New York City. Absolute total opposite. And I don't know, I think I'm someone that's always loved being like thrown into new cities. I think that's why I'm really excited to go abroad. New York was a good place to just throw me out of my comfort zone, and I think traveling can also do that as well. But as I say that, New York can be super draining socially and financially and just in all sorts of ways. I know a lot of people say that New Yorkers are mean, and I don't think that's totally true, but sometimes just being out in public in New York, the mood may not be the best and it can just suck the life out of you. So I think you have to find ways to sort of get into nature, like go to Central Park, go to Prospect Park, and escape the city every once in a while to stay sane. Cheap travel tips, how to find good Airbnbs as well as flights. I know you said on your vlog channel you'll be making a video about this, but we just got cut off here. We're still learning all about our new camera. Never mentioned we were filming on a new camera. We just bought a new one for traveling. It's a bit more lightweight. Anyways, back to the travel tips. I think having a flexible schedule is definitely the best option. If you can do that, there are so many different ways to save when you're a bit more flexible. We often use Skyscanner for booking flights. Pretty much always I'm checking on Skyscanner for flights. Open it in an incognito window so they're not tracking you. And you can view flight prices on a monthly view, so if you don't have to leave on a specific date, that can often save you a lot of money. You can also type everywhere into the search box, which we've done that a lot, especially when we're traveling to Europe, just to figure out the cheapest way to get there, and then from that place we can take a budget airline flight to our real destination, usually for like $20 or $30. Flights and almost everything seems to be so much cheaper over there. As most of you know, we pretty much always stay in Airbnb's because they're much cheaper than hotels. Avery's been telling me about something called Scott's Cheap Flights lately. Your friends use it, right?
Yeah, apparently I've gotten good flight tickets from my friends who use it. It's just like a newsletter. So yeah, maybe look more into it or tell us more about it.
Yeah, but you have to have a membership, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a thing. But like I said, I think just being flexible is the most important thing. But we could definitely do an entire video talking more in depth about things, maybe a blog post. But that's our summary for now. The last question that I was talking about when we got cut off was how to go about downsizing your closet. And I was saying that I feel like I don't really have that much of a personal attachment to the majority of my belongings. And it definitely didn't used to be like that when I was younger. Like, I used to think having a giant wardrobe was so much better than having like a few pieces that I really love and can style in a bunch of different ways. And I've just completely changed my mind. I also think now, usually when I'm shopping, I sort of do have the resale market in mind, just in case for some reason I change my mind about it or want to pick up something new. Sort of my rule is if I haven't reached for something in a month or two and it's not because it's out of season, like it's not because it's a coat and it's the summertime and that's why I'm not reaching for it, I get rid of it because there's a reason that I'm not reaching for it. And with traveling and living in small apartments, you can't really have a giant wardrobe, so it's also a practical thing. I feel like at a certain point, it just becomes natural to you. I feel like it's very natural to me now. I sort of hate having a lot of things, and I just make sure that when I'm shopping, I am setting some sort of an intention and doing my research. And that's the first step to downsizing, is not consuming and over-consuming too many things. Even when you love fashion, you can consume less. At a certain point, when it comes to downsizing your closet and not wanting to add too much more to it, you can use things that you sell, like the profits from that, to purchase new things, and then you're pretty much never spending any money on new clothes. It's just a nice process of recycling, and if you're taking the time to invest your money in nicer items, things last and you can sell them. Maybe in the future I can do an entire video on that. I'm planning to do a video showing you guys all of the pieces that I kept, because I did do a massive downsize on my wardrobe and my belongings. I think I may have filmed that when we're already traveling, just because then I'll absolutely know what I kept and what I brought with me. But I think that's gonna do it for us. It was nice to catch up with you guys again. I'm sorry it's been so long. I'm definitely gonna be better about this now. And I'll have all of my social links and just a bunch of good stuff in the description box, so make sure you check that out. And I will see you soon with a new video. Bye guys!